Good afternoon, my friends. It's story time again. I know it's Saturday, but remember I said I would read a story every day until Christmas. So today is day 5, and I have a story about a quilt. I love to make quilts, and it's been a while since I was able to make a quilt. But that's okay, because one day I will get back to it. And this is about the Christmas memory quilt. Now, do you have a quilt that maybe your Nana or Grandma made you? Maybe when you were a baby or when you grew up a little bit and they made you this beautiful quilt that is nice and warm and cozy and it reminds you of her. Well, let's find out about this Christmas memory quilt. I love quilts, and I love them even more when somebody special makes them for me or that they have a story behind them. So let's find out about this one, the Christmas memory quilt. My birthday is in June. When is your birthday? And when the air smells like sunscreen and summertime barbecues. December is a long time away. She looks like she's pretty excited and they're having a picnic. But on my birthday, Grandma brings a present decked in holiday bows. "Merry Christmas, Bryn," she says with a wink. "What do you mean?" I ask. Grandma nods toward the gift. You see that gift? It's got big old bows on it, ready for, and it says, "Merry Christmas." Why would it say Merry Christmas rather than Happy Birthday? I snip the ribbons, tear the paper, and throw open the lid. Christmas colors spill out of the box in soft fabric patches. "This is a birthday gift for you and a Christmas present for someone else," Grandma says. What is she going to do with all those pieces of fabric? There's greens and reds and red and green and white stripe and red and white stripe. All kinds of Christmas colors. So, okay. I have to remember where I am. Mom blinks fast like she does when she dices onions. Dad, he grins. "Who?" I ask. She wants to know who she's going to make this Christmas quilt for. Who's she going to make this quilt for? "A needy baby in a faraway country? The fabric is for a blanket I will make and donate to an orphanage. Grandma will teach me to quilt, and come Christmas morning, a lonely child will be swaddled in love." What a wonderful gift, Mom says. Dad squeezes my shoulder. I'm excited to quilt with Grandma, and I'm happy that my blanket will comfort a needy baby. But I'm sad that the baby is lonely. Sometimes I feel lonely too. Do sometimes you feel lonely and you wonder if anybody loves you? There's many people that love you because there's your mom and your dad and your siblings. They love you, but sometimes we can feel lonely. So look at all those different children all over their world. Is there any child that looks just like you? No. Everyone is different, and that's what makes us special, because we're all different, and that's a good thing. Each day I walk to Grandma's house. We sit on the porch and sew, patch after patch, row after row. Wow, look at all those rows. Look at all that red and white fabric. Those are all patches that they've sewn together. My blanket is small and simple. Grandma watches me quilt as she works on a special blanket of her own. She begins a story each time she threads her needle, stitching family memories into the fabric. Ooh, now she's going to tell a story through her quilting. I remember your mother's third Christmas, she says. Mom stood on tiptoes and pulled a bowl of caramel popcorn off the table, Grandma tells me. You see the little girl? She looks like she's got a bowl of popcorn on her head. I found a sugary heap on the floor and a very sticky 3-year-old in the middle of it all. She carefully sews a picture of popcorn kernel on a flannel square. Another day, Grandma asks, have I told you about my first Christmas with Grandpa? I shake my head. We were too poor for presents, and we walked around the churchyard gathering pine cones. Grandma's eye grew misty. What do you think that means? Grandma's eyes grew misty? That means there was a little bit of tears coming out of her eyes because she was remembering a very special memory to her. For each one he found, he told me something he loved about me. What a special gift that would be. And she snipped the thread as she finished the quilt outline of an evergreen tree. Ooh, there's another quilt. There's a popcorn kernel and there's an evergreen tree. Now I remember your first Christmas present, she says. The next time we quilt, I started working on the day you were born. I started working on it the day you were born. My own Christmas blanket was sunny yellow because I brightened her life. She tells me this as she stitches a sunshine shape, and my blanket is pale and threadbare now. Someday, the new quilt in my hands will be worn out too, but today it is bright like leafy vegetables and ripe strawberries, and I wonder if the faraway child will ever weed a garden the way I help my mom each summer. You see all the weeding that she does in the summer with her garden? That's a pretty big garden, and it's so beautiful with all the colors. I skipped to Grandma's house, past dried corn stalks standing like skeletons. I want to make a leaf piles and dive in and bake pumpkin seeds and make wishes over Thanksgiving turkey bone. I know just what I'd wish for. A brother or a sister to play with me in the autumn leaves. She doesn't have a brother or a sister yet. When the weather grows colder, I leave snowy footprints all the way from school to Grandma's house. She likes going to Grandma's house. That must mean Grandma lives very close to her. I help Grandma set out her nativity set and polish my favorite piece. What piece would be your favorite piece of the nativity? Let's find out what the little girl's favorite piece is. The baby in a manger. Then she pulls out her needle and thread, and she has one more story to share. I remember the first Christmas, she says. What do you mean? She smiles. I remember the baby born that Christmas night long ago. I think of him whenever I see your happy eyes, whenever I see how much your parents love you. He can make our joy last forever. Hi, Olivia and Lainey and Claire and Jake and Ella and Cody. Thanks for joining in Nana's story. Let's go on and find out what happens with the Christmas memory quilt. She speaks slowly. She's stitching a beautiful star into the fabric. Jesus was born in a stable beneath gleaming starlight. Angels sang, shepherds bowed, earth and heaven rejoiced. His mother wrapped him in swaddling clothes, holding him close and singing lullabies. One day he would bleed in a garden and die on a cross, and then he would rise again for us, each one of us. Her words feel like warm sunlight, like a soft Christmas quilt, wrapping me in love. And I think of the lonely child far away and hope that they will feel warm too. There's the beautiful star that Grandma is quilting in that block. Okay, so we have a tree, we have a star. What was our first one? We had, we have to remember. What was our very first block that Grandma was making? I can't even remember. Can you remember what the very first block was that she made? The popcorn kernel from this little girl's mom and having the popcorn on her head. And then the fir tree. Yes. And the bright red. Okay, now, whoops. Now I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. The first Christmas present was the blanket, and she did the sunshine because it reminded her of the garden and the corn stalks, and she was walking in the snow and the baby Jesus, so she made a star, right? So her words were like feel like warm sunlight, like a soft Christmas quilt wrapping me in love. That's what little girl remembered. We finished our blankets 2 weeks before Christmas. Grandma puts mine into a brown box ready to be shipped far away. She puts her blanket in another box. Someone special will enjoy this quilt, she says. I sigh. I'm a little sad to see our memories go. There's her package. And how did she make memories? She spent time with Grandma, and she shared all kinds of stories with Grandma, and they built and made these beautiful quilts. On Christmas morning, Grandma comes early. I find peanuts and an orange and chocolate mints in my stocking. I find a doll and a sled beneath the tree. And I find a box wrapped in Christmas colors with my name printed across the top. There's the Christmas colored box, and it has her name, Bryn, on the top of it. Oh, there we go. What did she get for Christmas from Grandma? I snip the ribbons, tear the paper, throw open the lid, and I see a soft fabric squares, pictures stitched into them. And I see a photograph of a baby, his big brown eyes staring up into mine. Oh. Merry Christmas, Bryn, Grandma whispers, wrapping me in a Christmas quilt. I stare at the photo, and then I look at Mom with questioning eyes. She blinks fast like she does when she's dicing onions. Dad grins. Now you can remember and share our family memories, he says, with your new baby brother. My mouth drops open and then spreads into a wide smile. This spring, a lonely child from faraway country will come into our home. He won't be lonely anymore, and neither will I. Can we make him a Christmas quilt? I ask Grandma. He already has one, Grandma says, pointing at the picture. I look closer at the smiley baby and recognize familiar green and red fabrics. Now I know where she sent the first box. The first box? There's a Christmas quilt. She made a Christmas quilt for her new little baby brother. And when the house is dimmed to Christmas tree glow, I snuggle under my new quilt, dreaming of days to come. My brother and I will weed the garden and dive into leaf piles, and Grandma will thread the needle, telling us of popcorn, of pine cones, and the day my brother comes home. She'll teach us of silent night, holy night, and how our joy can last forever. All year long we'll carry Christmas memories in our hearts. Because they have a quilt that they can be under each and every night, each and every day, whenever they want. they can have that quilt with all those memories and stories. So that's the story of the Christmas memory quilt. And maybe you have a special quilt that you have, that someone special made for you, with the love that they had for you. So remember the Christmas memory quilt, and we will have another story tomorrow. Yay! And happy Christmas and happy day. Have a great day. Mwah! Thanks for joining.